Thank you very much. First, let me say spurs up to the Gamecock Nation out there. Uh, like many of you alumni, my time at Carolina was some of the most precious and fun years of my life. I'll always look back on my time at Carolina with fond memories. Every time I go to Cola Rock City, as my friends and I in college like to call Columbia, we walk across the horseshoe, and we're just filled with so many memories of all our times, and 5 Points and the Vista, and going to football games and basketball and baseball games and hanging out with your friends. So I know many of you can share in that sentiment as well. I want to take you back here to when you were a freshman, when you came in to Carolina as a freshman. I love to speak to alumni groups because this is a good starting off point for me, which is when you went to college, you were probably ready to take on the world. You were going to go to Carolina and you were going to major in this and you were going to major in that. You were going to go out and you had a plan, you had a kind of an idea, or maybe you didn't have a plan, but you were super excited about the future. And I want to take you back to that feeling, that you never forget that feeling. And no matter how old you are, how many years you've been out of college, to go back to the 18-year-old version of you that started as a freshman at Carolina, with hope and dreams about the world, and never lose track of that person, whoever that person was, regardless of today, whether you're 35 or 45 or 65 or whatever. But go back to that time in your life and remember how you felt and the energy level that you had taking on the world. So I'm going to start here today with what I call Hollywood Ready Action. That you're the director of your own life, that everything in your life starts with you. Your happiness is a choice, success is a choice, having good friends is a choice, having loving relationships is a choice. You are in control. You're the one constant in every part of your life. So from this moment on, I want you to think of yourself as a Hollywood movie director and ask yourself, what kind of life would you like to have? So just as movies need a good script and hardworking actors, you need a game plan of action, a map, a roadmap to get you where you want to be. So what kind of life do you want? You have to make a decision. You can create the life that you want because you are in charge. I think a lot of times in life we feel like, I can't do this, I can't do that. We make a lot of excuses and rationalizations for why we don't have the life we want, why we don't obtain the things we want. And it's easy sometimes to point the finger and point blame at other people. But I want you to take full responsibility from this moment forward for everything that's going on in your life. And understand that you have a lot more power than you think. So I want you to take back the power in your own life because you are in charge. If you are not happy with your love life, with your marriage, you can do something about that. If you're not happy with your relationship with your kids, you can do something about that as well. If you're not happy with your job or your career, you can do something about that. You have more power than you think, that you understand. But we tend to get where we have this sort of feeling that we're in like a raft or a boat that's, on wild rapids, and it's pulling us this way and it's pulling us that way. And you need to understand that you are the boat, you are the captain of the boat. You decide in which direction you go. Every morning when you get up, you decide what kind of attitude you're going to, greet the day and approach the day, and how you're going to treat people in your life, and whether you're going to value the people that you care about and build those relationships. And when you have conflict and when you have problems, how you're going to resolve those things. I used to do chaplain work, and I met many people who said they weren't afraid to die. But I say more people are afraid to live. I mean, truly live their lives, a life on their own terms, a fulfilled and happy life. Most people are so afraid to live and take chances that they stop themselves from dreaming or living their dream. Many people settle. I say you get one life, so never settle for anything less, than you want in life. I call this next section Hawkeye the Avenger. I used the Marvel character. And the idea is, don't be a target, be the arrow. Aim, fire, bullseye. Most people live their life as a human target, getting shot and hit over and over again. You take hits from your boyfriend or girlfriend, you take hits from your spouse, from your boss, from your coworkers, from your siblings, the economy, COVID-19. There's a lot coming at us in life, and it does feel like you're taking hits. Every day is something. They're raising, gas prices go up, the economy, the job market, more pressure at work, longer drive time to work, rush hour, all these things, property taxes going up. So it's easy between personal issues and life and family and career, when you're trying to balance all those things, especially in the times we're living in right now, to feel like you're just getting hit over and over again. So we tend to live our lives in constant defense mode, trying to shield ourselves and survive all the hits we take every day. So I say, stop being a human target, be the arrow instead. Take control of every action in your life, because you hold the bow. So aim the arrow and fire it towards the things that you want. And rather than taking the hits, take charge of your life. So fire the arrow towards love, fire an arrow towards happiness, fire an arrow towards joy and contentment. Aim for success. Make life happen for you and not to you. This section is called Goals and Dreams. This is a very simple exercise. Most of my speeches, I do a series of speeches called Game Plan for Life, and that's what we're going to work on today. Coming up with a game plan for your life, helping you create your own roadmap to reach the goals and the destination that you want, your destiny in your life. So make a list. What is your dream in life? What is your goal? It's a great question, and I think it's an important question, because we have a tendency when we're in a marriage, when we're kind of working in a career, when we have children, when we have a mortgage and we have a car payment and all the things, and we're putting together a retirement fund and all those things as we're building a life, taking care of others, taking care of people, that sometimes we get lost from what is it that we really want to do with our life. One of the things I've been encouraging people with COVID-19 is turn your lemons into lemonade. This is an excellent chance to press pause, maybe press restart on your life, and really start evaluating, like, what do I want to do with my life? What's my goal in life? What's my dream in life? To go back to that 18-year-old freshman, what did that 18-year-old freshman at Carolina want to do with their life? What was your goal in life? Did you achieve it? Some people have tremendous success in their career, but they have problems in their home life. Other people have an amazing home life, an amazing family, but they haven't achieved maybe the career goals that they wanted. So go back to that 18-year-old freshman. What was your goal? What's your dream? Did you hit a detour? Did you hit a roadblock? Or did you reach it and achieve it and now you're looking for more? Or did you never get there, or did you not even try? So let's figure out what your dream in life is. And then ask these questions, because they're very important. Why do you want it? What will achieving this dream mean to you? How will you feel when you reach that goal? This is a bit of psychoanalyzation of your personality and get to the root causes of the things going on in your life. You have to look for all the positive elements in your personality and what your strengths are as a human being, as a person, and make those shine and play to your strengths. And then also find out what the weaknesses are. And if you have any limiting behaviors that are holding you back, from reaching your dreams, reaching your goals. To give you an example, so I was a musician for a long time and I played music. So what is your dream in life? So I meet a lot of musicians and I say, what's your dream in life? They said, to be a professional musician. So I ask a series of simple questions. Do you play an instrument? Yes. Do you have a band? Yes. Do you guys play gigs and shows and concerts? Yes. Do you write and record your own music? Yes. Do you ever sell your CDs, or can people download one of your songs on iTunes? Or they say yes. I say, congratulations. I shake their hand. My work is done. You're a professional musician. And they're like, oh, well, I want to be on MTV and I want to be on tour and I want, to be on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine and play, football stadiums, with my fans, singing my songs. I said, when I asked you what you want to do, you said you want to be a professional musician. That's not true. Those series of questions lead you to what is that you really want to do. What you're talking about is being a rock star or being a pop star, and that's about fame. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to get to the root cause of why you want something, why this goal or why this dream is so important to you. Because once I showed that individual that what they really wanted was to be a rock star or a pop star, they wanted fame, fortune. What does that involve? Fans, autographs, pictures. That's a lot of love. And so we got back to the root cause of that person is that they needed validation. They needed recognition. And then we traced that all the way back to their childhood and realized they didn't get enough recognition, love, and support from their parents at home or in their childhood. And so now as an adult, they're seeking that through their career. And many artists have similar experiences like that. And the thing is, it's not to say it's a negative thing or whatever, but to get to the root cause of understanding that this person now knows that what they're really looking for is validation, recognition, love, support, family. And they don't have to necessarily get that by becoming a rock star. So this, what is your dream in life? You work backwards. So let's say I want to be a doctor. My goal in life is to be a doctor. Okay. What do I need to be a doctor? A medical license. How do you get a medical license? Pass the medical exams. What do you need for that? Go to medical school. What do you need to get into medical school? You got to score high on the MCAT to get into medical school. What do you need that? College. So you kind of work backwards, figure out the end destination of what your dream and what your goal is, and then work step by step backwards of what you need to make that happen. And then you put together a game plan, a roadmap to help make your dream a reality. You come up with a step-by-step plan to make it come true. And then ask yourself this question, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a career. I mean, your dream in life could be to be in love. Your dream in life could be to have a great relationship with your kids. Your dream in life could be to have a house on the lake, or to have a job that gives you the freedom to travel or work from home and not have to sit in rush hour traffic and sit in a cubicle all day. Whatever your dream is, big or small, figure out what you need to do to make that happen. But this question, what is the strategy for gaining the skills to live the life you want? People can answer the first question. My dream is to be a rock star. My dream is to own my own business. My dream is to be in a healthy, happy, loving relationship with 3 kids and a beautiful house on the lake, Lake Murray. But what is the strategy that you're going to do, the game plan for getting the skills that you will need to make that happen? Not just say, I want to do something and I'm going to go try to do it, but what are the skills that you need? Because if you focus and you come up in your game plan with step by step, I need this, so I have to learn this. I need this, so I have to learn this. And then want it 1,000%, not 100%. Everybody wants things 100%, want it 1,000%. Because people who are completely committed will not give up. The biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is typically successful people will not take no for an answer. It's bands like Linkin Park that got turned down for every record contract that they ever applied for, but continue to go back and believe in themselves until eventually they got a record contract. Tyra Banks got turned down, I think, just about every modeling agency until she finally found one. It's people who will not give up on their dreams, who will not take no for an answer, and will continue to get the skills that they need to be successful and continue to go back over and over again. So when you're trying to make your dreams come true, sometimes there are chains that are holding you back from your dream life. Typically, I find with people, fear and pain are 2 main issues in the human character that keep us from achieving all that we want. Your past experiences can make you afraid of the future, afraid of failing. People who've gotten out of a nasty relationship or had their heart broken sometimes struggle to date or have a good relationship after that. Sometimes after a painful divorce, it can be difficult to trust. And the thing is that I know people who've been single for a long time after a terrible divorce or after a breakup, and you try to get them to go out on dates and stuff like that and convince them to meet people. And they're like, the thing is, it's their fear of the future, their past experience and their fear of getting hurt again in the future are affecting their present. So I say, don't let pain and fear run your life. Don't let what happened in the past and your fear of the future ruin your present. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. Here's a little game plan for success for you. Your life, happiness, and success will be decided by the choices you make every day and by your proactive reactions to life events to get better results. So lesson number 1, ask better questions than everyone around you. This is a huge thing. Understand the power of questions and how important it is to direct your thoughts and actions towards solutions. Um, Asking better questions leads you to better answers. Better answers give you better results. If you look at history, so a lot of people looked up in the sky and said, wouldn't it be awesome if we could fly one day like the birds? I'm talking about thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. People looked up at the sky and go, wouldn't that be amazing? The people who invented, the Wright brothers, they asked better questions than everybody else. What kind of machine do I have to build that could take off and lift off into the air? What kind of mechanism would I need? What kind of wood would I need, or metal would I need to help me, stay above the ground? What kind of things do I need to make sure that I land safely? How will I steer it? They simply asked better questions. And so they were able to get better answers, and those better answers led them to better results. Sometimes we get stuck in like little bubbles. I'll use Steve Jobs as an example. Steve Jobs created Apple computers in a garage in California. And so this is a great thing for motivational speakers, because many of you have been quarantined or stuck at home or been working from home. Some of you may have lost your jobs. And in these solutions, we always feel like, I wish I could, and we make a lot of rationale and excuses for ourselves. And don't get me wrong, things are tough right now for a lot of people and a lot of families. But I'm trying to get you to understand that you can take power back in your life and take charge of your life. And like we said, take that bow and arrow and aim it in the direction and start shooting for the stars and start shooting for the things that you want to make your dreams and your goals come true. Steve Jobs created Apple computers in a garage. He didn't have an office in Silicon Valley. He didn't have $1 million grants. He just went out there in the garage and, had an idea with his friends, and they created Apple computers. I'll use Steve Jobs as the question thing, because later on in life, and some of you who are older can relate to when you used to talk on a mobile phone. People used to send pages on these things called pagers, for you young ones. And they used to sit and watch a television. And if you wanted to work on a computer, it was a desktop computer, not a laptop, a desktop computer. And everybody in every industry was trying to make their phone better, their telephone better, their desktop computer better, their technology, their software, their television. And Steve Jobs simply asked better questions than everybody. What if I integrated all those technologies? What if you could, with one device, surf the internet, watch movies and videos, listen to music, talk, text, email? What if it was a computer, a phone, a television, and everything? He simply asked better questions, and his questions led him to better answers, and those answers led to the creation of the iPhone, which changed the world that we live in. And so there is a power in questions. There's also a danger in asking the wrong questions. So make sure your questions are helping you get to the solution and not creating more of a problem for you. And here's what I mean. There's these things we call disempowering questions or loop questions, which is, why does this always happen to me? Why do all my relationships end in failure? Why do all the businesses I start fail? Why do all my jobs end in me getting fired? When you ask those questions, your brain is kind of like a computer. Your brain has a lot going on in there. So if you ask it a question, it will give you answers. So if you ask what I call a loop question, a disempowering question, a question like, why does this always happen to me? Why do all my jobs end in failure? Why do all the businesses I start fail? Why do all my relationships end in failure? Your brain will immediately spit out 30 different negative answers. Well, I'm overweight, I'm ugly, I don't have a good personality, and it'll make you actually feel worse about yourself and worse about your situation, because you're asking the wrong questions. But if you ask a question that leads you in a positive direction, a question that leads you towards a solution, for example, how do I make sure my next business doesn't fail? How do I make sure that at my next job I don't get fired? How do I make sure that the next relationship I have is a happy relationship or fulfills me as a person? And then you start understanding that there are some choices that you're making in your personal life or your negative life or your career that are holding you back, limiting patterns of behavior. But you want to ask questions that lead you to answers, not negativity and loop questions. So lesson number 2, when you find yourself in any tough or difficult situation in life, for example, divorce, loss of job, how you react to it will determine the result. The problem is not the most important thing. People always focus on the problem. You know, our company is losing money every month. And sometimes you get so fixated on the problem that it cripples you, essentially. How you react to the problem and the choices you make to overcome the problem are the most important elements in determining success or failure. But people get trapped in the misery and unhappiness of the problem. They focus all their energy on the problem. So I say, don't focus on the problem. Give all your energy to the solution. Which leads me to a key in getting what you want in life is successful people tend to spend about 10% of their time on the problem, 90% of their time on the solution. So I want you to try to remember that. Anytime you're faced with any kind of crisis or event in your life that is a struggle for you, don't spend too much time focusing on the problem itself, but spend all your time and your energy and your focus and your mental energy, on the solution. You can't control events. You can be influenced by events and you can influence events, but you can't control the actual event. So when COVID-19 happened, none of us had any control over it. We still don't. But what you can choose is your reaction to it, your response to the event, and your reaction and response to these events will change the outcome and determine the outcome. And the outcome is where you want to get to. So I'm going to call this training day. Rewire your brain. So, and I'm not talking, there are people who are born where their body doesn't produce, enough of this and enough of that. And there are people who are born with mental health issues and people who are born with personality disorders. So I'm really talking about your just average, everyday person who doesn't struggle with these things. But most people are not born depressed, sad, and angry. They're learned behaviors. So if you can learn and be taught to always see the negative in every situation, to doubt yourself at every turn, to not speak up for yourself, you have the power to rewire your brain to create a more confident, happy, and powerful version of yourself. And that takes a lot of work. You have to sort of psychoanalyze the root causes in your life of how you got to where you're at today and what kind of person you want to be. We go back to be the director of your own life. So if there's anything stopping you from living a truly happy, successful, fulfilled life on your own terms, what are those things? Now, they may involve other people, but if you reach out and try to change those relationships with other people, but you can rewire your brain. Sometimes we just have negative impulses. Something happens and we always look for the bad. We always think of the bad that's going to happen. People get a lot of anxiety over these things. And you need to recognize those limiting patterns of behavior to start rewiring your brain to think in a more positive light, to see the more positive outcome and take responsibility for your role in all those situations. I learned a valuable lesson from my grandmother when I was a kid growing up. My grandmother used to say, no matter what situation you have with another person, always try to ask yourself, even if you think you're 1,000% right and they're 1,000% wrong, is there anything I did or didn't do, anything I said or didn't say that contributed to the situation that I'm in right now? And then what can you do about that to make that better? So try to rewire your brain. I call this don't be a hologram. Don't project an image, tell your story. So often in life, we do not celebrate who we really are. We don't let our true self shine out, giving light to the world. We hide who we are. We run from who we are. We try to carve and trim and cut who we are so we can bend, flex, and manipulate ourselves into being what the world wants us to be, what our parents, friends, and spouses want us to be. Most people project a made-up image of themselves that they believe their friends and family will accept. So I say, stop being a hologram, walk out into the light, and be the hero that you were born to be. because my message is tell your story. We look at our lives as a series of random, disconnected events, moments, jobs, people, experiences. But if you connect the dots of your life, you will see that there's a tapestry of your life. You are not where you are in life just by accident. Your life experiences, your reaction to those experiences, the choices you made, the decisions you made, that's what got you to where you're at. And if you learn, and sometimes our failures are the most important teachers that we have. If you don't let them crush you, if you learn from them, sometime, if you can, Google Abraham Lincoln's life and career. And what you'll see is Abraham Lincoln had nothing but failure after failure after failure after failure, but he kept believing in himself and kept fighting for the things that he wanted in life. And eventually he became president. And eventually he was president during the Civil War, a very important time in American history, to decide whether, we would stay, one united country or break apart. But his life was one failure after another. And there are so many opportunities in life and examples in life of people who weren't successful, who just continued to believe in themselves and continued, to fight for the things that they wanted and things that they believe in. A couple of quick things. We're going to run over time here. Ice pickers. In life, beware of what I call the ice pick chippers. The old Southern thing where your grandma used to get out the ice picker and she used to chip away at the ice. So I say, save your soul from the ice pick chippers. From the moment we're born into the world, we are potential. Potential to be anything, potential to believe in anything, potential to reach for the stars, maybe pull one or two down from the heavens. But every day, our parents, mom and dad, chip away at us. Our teachers chip away at us, preachers, social media, advertisements, billboards, family, friends, they all chip away at our beautiful world. In some cases, not everybody, obviously, but they tend to create your reality for you. I think I'm having an awesome life until I turn on my television or I go on the internet, and then I'm reminded that I'm not driving the coolest car. I'm not wearing the most up-to-date, coolest watch. My iPhone is now completely outdated. So I need a new car. I need a new computer. I'm not having as amazing adventures and relationships. I watch TV and I see all these people dressed amazingly and doing all these amazing things. And, people are addicted to reality TV shows because they want to see how other people are living. And it can mess with your self-esteem. It can mess with your identity and yourself. So don't let multimedia and billboards, make you think, anything less about yourself. It's easy to go, I see this a lot. I have a young daughter, and, the world that we live in, every time she looks at a billboard or she sees girls on TV or she goes through magazines, she may think, she needs to be, 105 pounds and whatever, and have, a designer dress to be beautiful and to be cool. And I want her to understand that, she is beautiful in who she is. She doesn't have to put makeup on and dress up and do whatever, because that's all an internal thing. You're doing all that stuff to get the approval of other people. And that's kind of where we are in life. I won't ask the question, but I always ask this, how many women who went out into the world today, went to their jobs or whatever, put on makeup? Why? Why did you put on makeup? Right? And why am I dressed up right now? I am the same. Why do I have a tie and a suit on? I should be wearing nothing but Gamecock gear, right? Because we want to make a good impression. We want people to respect us. We want people to think we're professional. So I'm not saying not be professional. I'm just saying that understand that when you come into contact with ice pickers or people who try to chip away at you, people who make little snide comments. Sometimes we've been in relationships with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a loved one, or it's our parents or whatever who pick at us. Brothers, sisters, they're the best at this. I think siblings, hands down, can trash talk with the best of them. So when you have a sibling that just kind of, busts on you and makes fun of you all the time, sometimes you're like, hey, that's just us. That's our relationship. But for some people who are insecure and sensitive, those little comments can really add up over the years. So beware of the ice pickers in your life. We always say, stay away from toxic people. I have an aunt who calls them energy vampires. People who suck the life force out of you and suck the energy out of you. Try to avoid those people in life, and surround yourself with positive people that accept you for exactly who you are. Let's say we don't get many choices in our lives up to the age of 18. You can't choose your mom and dad, your sisters, your brothers, your family, the time and place of your birth, where you were born, your hair color, your eye color, born tall or short. Your name is chosen for you. You're raised with a certain religion or no religion. You're raised with your family's political viewpoints. All your life, they control your environment. They control your reality. I use the fruit bowl analogy. There's a fruit bowl in front of you filled with many different types of fruits. You think because you choose papaya, or peaches or whatever, that you're a unique individual, but you never stop to ask the question. They have controlled the situation from the beginning. They gave you a fruit bowl, and you never question why a fruit bowl. You accept the environment and you try to make the best of the situation. And life, always recognize when someone tries to chip away at your beautiful self. Sort of the moral of that story is that you can be anything you want to be. The life that you're going to have is directly related to the choices and decisions that you make every single day. The sum total of those decisions and choices creates the life that you have. And so you can make better choices. How do you make better choices? Ask better questions. Ask better questions than everyone around you. It's very successful in life, in family, and in career that everyone focuses so much on the problem that sometimes they can't think outside the box. But you can be one of those people. You can take charge of your life. You can be what you want. Understand what your goal in life is, what your dream in life is, and go and try to make that happen. Two last things I want to leave you here, and then I'll open it up if anybody has any questions. One, a very simple, quick guidebook to happiness. Take a piece of paper and draw a line right down the middle of it. On one side, put good, happy, joy, pleasure. On the other side, put bad, angry, sad, frustration, depression, whatever. So on one side, you're going to put all positive things in your life. On the other side, you're going to put negative things. So anything that brings you any kind of joy or happiness or makes your life better, I want you to make a list of those things. Anything that brings any kind of anger, frustration, sadness, depression, I want you to make a list of those things. Then I want you to go back and look at those things and get to the root causes of them. A simple guidebook for happiness is the things that bring more joy and happiness in your life, do them more often. Try to make sure that I realized about myself that if I played guitar every day, if I spent time with my children and did something fun and had a memorable moment with my children every day, if I like to be in water, so any kind of swimming, surfing, hot tub, scuba diving, anything like that. I like to watch movies. I like to laugh. I like to do something and talk to friends. So if I can do all those things on a daily basis and I like to eat a good meal, I'm a happier person. When I don't do some of those things, I'm less happy. So one simple thing is the things that make you happy, that bring you joy in life and are positive for you, do more of them and do them more often and try to make them a part of your actual schedule every single day. Take a little bit of time for yourself, even if it's just 10 minutes. If I just pick up a guitar and play a couple of songs for 10 minutes, I walk away a better person. I'm a happier person than if I don't. And it's like 10 minutes. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes. Sometimes it might be an hour. But whatever time I can, if I just pick up guitar, I try to make sure I tell my kids I love them every day and do something fun with them every day. Not just be a parent, but let's go do something fun for them, and see them laugh, and that makes me happy, right? So finding those little moments in life. The bad things, that's a little bit more difficult. There are some things in your life you need to get to the root cause. Why does this bother me so much? Why does this upset me so much? Why does this make me angry or depressed or sad? Now, there are some things you may not be able to get away from. So I say, simple guidebook to happiness, things that upset you, make you unhappy, create anger and depression and sadness for you. Try to do them less often. Try to eliminate them from the list if you can. But maybe it's something that you can. For example, I'm a single father. My son likes to wear 7 outfits a day. I kid you not. My daughter likes to wear 5. I do a lot of laundry. I don't particularly love laundry. I'll get up every day and go, I really want to do lots of laundry today, stacks of clothes. And I realized that was on my list. So I'm not going to be able to get away from laundry unless I'm going to pay, unless I hate it so much and it brings so much unhappiness to my life that I'm willing to pay someone to do it, or take all those clothes to a laundromat or pay someone, or a dry cleaners or whatever. I'm not going to be able to get out of that. That's one thing on my negative list that I'm not going to be able to get out of. So I said, what's the root cause of these issues? What can I do to change that or make it better? Or as my daughter says, less sucky, right? So for me, I like music. So I'm so busy all the time with job and career and being a father that I don't often have time to listen to music as much as I like. So I started putting music on while I do laundry. And then it stopped annoying me as much because there was something positive going on while I was doing this negative thing. So when we talk about rewiring your brain, okay, there's these things we have called neuro associations, where you develop something, a psychological, emotional attachment to an actual material, physical event that's going on. So by playing music while I was doing something that I didn't enjoy doing, I started to rewire my brain so that the emotional, psychological attachment is, oh, I dread doing laundry. Oh, I don't want to do laundry. Now I started to rewire the brain to the point where now I actually look forward to it because that's my time to listen to music. And neuro associations are very powerful. And you can change your life and rewire your brain if you can find the neuro associations in your life that are holding you back. For example, a couple's in a relationship, they have a particular song. That's our song. A song they first kissed to, or that they fell in love to, or that they danced, or a song that was played at their wedding or their prom or whatever. And then there's a horrible breakup and they're brokenhearted. Forever, that song, as soon as it comes on the radio, they are immediately taken right back to that place and that exact feeling they had. So that is how powerful a neuroassociation can be when you take a lot of emotional energy and you attach it to something that happened in your life. So just as there are negative neuroassociations, if you get to the root cause of it, you can actually rewire your brain to start changing the way you feel about those things. But find the positive neuroassociations in your life and use them as a positive driving force in your life. And the negative neuroassociations you have, get back to the root cause. And one thing that you're going to find, and this is a fascinating thing, I think, is there are a lot of very driven, successful CEO type people who run businesses, people who've been successful in different areas of life. But they're unhappy. And we went to look at their root causes, and we went through some of this game plan for life stuff that I'm doing with you and some of my seminars and my speeches and my leadership training workshops. And one of the things that we discovered was they didn't get enough love, recognition, and validation at home. And so they're driven to be successful in their career. And so when they were looking back at the neuro associations they have in their life, what they found was that a lot of that negativity comes from their childhood or something that happened in their childhood or their relationship with their parents or whatever. But what they've now understood by doing some of these exercises is that this has actually been a great thing for them. Yeah, it's not good that they didn't have a great relationship with their parents or that they had these bad experiences as a kid, but because they didn't get the love, recognition, and success they wanted as a child, they are driven to be incredibly successful people in their careers. And so truthfully, that is the fuel for the fire, the gasoline that drives that engine. And the key now for them as a grown-up, as an adult, is to go back and make peace with that, to have a heart-to-heart conversation with the people in their childhood or in their lives that hurt them, that they didn't get the kind of love and recognition and support from, and own it and take ownership so it doesn't drive them. So they're not sitting in a corporate office making millions of dollars a year, but they're miserable and unhappy because they're thinking about, how much they're angry at their parents or their childhood, but making peace with that and understanding and meeting with their parents or whoever and talking to them and talking through it and saying, this happened, I didn't like it, but it's part of the person who I am today. And that's part of that section I talked about, telling your story, because the negative things that have happened to you in life, the failures you've had, if you learn from them, they can really fuel your fire and help you grow. I've probably gone way over time here, but I'm going to end with this. So COVID-19 happened, and we've all been affected in different ways. First of all, I want to pray for all your families and for you, that your families are healthy, and that you've been able to find your way through the economic issues that have gone on. But, COVID-19 tried to destroy my career. I was working as a professional motivational speaker. I had been on a motivational speaking tour. They canceled 6 months of motivational speeches. First they canceled March, April, and May, then June and July, and then August, and then Microsoft said they're canceling all motivational speeches and events until June of 21. So, no work, no money, no income, falling behind on my bills, wondering how you're going to feed your kids, health insurance. I could have sat around, feeling sorry for myself, becoming angry, mad at the world, how unfair the virus is and how the government is closing down businesses and the economy. But then you start all these little game plan tips I gave you today, trying to ask better questions, focusing not on the problem, but on the solution. And I said, all those emotions that we all felt if we lost our jobs or we lost our career, how do they help me? How do those emotions, that anger, that frustration, how does it help me as a father? How does it help my children? Does it make their life better? No, it's just me getting more and more upset or angry. So instead, I focused on coming up with a solution and returning to coaching. So I accepted a job to be the athletic director and head coach, which starts on August 1st. It's a dream job at a great school. I just bought land. I'm building a dream house. And I'm going to go live my dream. I aim my arrows at my goals. I aim my, bow and arrow at my dreams. I'm not special. I'm not unique. I'm not a superhero. It's a small dream by some standards, but it's my dream. I asked better questions than some. I was proactive in solving my own problems. And I worked hard and believed in myself, even if other people doubted me. So find your dream career and follow your passion. So again, just kind of review what we've talked about today. Figure out what you want to do with your life, what your goal is, what your dream in life is. And it doesn't have to be, I want to be president of the United States. This is my career goal. It can be a small goal. Like I want to own my own home. I want to pay my mortgage off early. I want to own my own business. I want to move up to upper level management in my business. I want to be able to work from home. I want to have more free time to spend time with my kids. So whatever your goal or dream is, figure that out. And then create a roadmap, a game plan to get there, a step-by-step to get there, one day at a time, get you closer to reaching those goals, get you closer to reaching those dreams. And then when I say find your dream career and follow your passion, I always tell all my people that, and all my athletes, find something you love to do, that you're passionate about, that you would do for free, and then get people to pay you to do it. And you never have to work a day in your life. And that's probably one of the better advices that I can give you today, because if you're following your passion, you're always going to be happy, and then everything falls in place. Some of you, you guys are from Carolina, so you lived in Columbia. Brent Lundy, who's one of my best friends in the world, is a popular musician in Columbia. He still plays in Columbia. He's got a music career, and Brent has been hacking away at this music career ever since we were, in college at Carolina together. Go see Brent Lundy, support his career. But here's the thing, whether he lives in a mansion or whether he is sharing an apartment with other musicians, whether he's driving like an old beat up car or he's driving a brand new car, he's happy because he is following his passion. He's done what he wants to do. Brent likes to say, I've never had a real job my entire life, and I hope I never do, right? He's trying to be a professional musician. He doesn't want to, do this job or that job. That's his dream. That's his goal. So for him, he doesn't need to drive the newest car and to have a house on Lake Murray, or whatever. Other people might want those things and, go get it. But find your passion and give everything you can to it. I really enjoyed talking to you today. I'm going to open up if anybody has any questions. And I just want to say, go Gamecocks, go Carolina. So if anyone has any questions, I'm opening up the floor. I don't know if our editors can call on people or if they're allowed to talk. We may need someone to unmute people so they can ask questions.
They do not have the ability to ask their questions on audio, but I've seen a couple of questions in the Zoom chat feature.
Okay, so I see, here's a question. What are your tips for getting out of a working from home slump? Okay. Um, what I would say is, first of all, you need a designated work environment. And that can be hard if you're a parent with very, very young children, but try to find, if you have the ability to create a designated work environment. Sometimes we have a tendency to feel like we're at home. Home is where we want to have fun. It's where we want to relax. It's where we want to chill. And it can get sometimes resentful sometimes that now your home is also trying to be a workspace. It can, for some people, they love it. They love working from home. Other people, it's like they don't feel like they're doing either. They're not able to relax at home the same way that they used to be. And they're not able to get as much done. There are a lot of things that have come out about this, about, getting up in the morning and shaving and showering and getting dressed like you're going to work and really treating, this as, the same as if you were going to the office, and finding a designated workspace that this is where I work. And over here is where I watch TV and chill out or whatever like that. But, so much of it is just, our attitude and how we approach it. Make the most of it. The thing about all crisis events, pandemics that we're going through right now is there are people who are going to come out of this situation in a much worse situation, and there are going to be people who are going to come out much better. I do find that you got to get out of the house a little bit, get some fresh air, get some exercise. I know a lot of people who are afraid to leave the house. Literally in 5 months, they have their groceries delivered. They're afraid that if they go out there, they're going to get COVID and they're going to, get sick. And so they don't leave the house. And I find that people who stay home and never leave, and I'm not talking about people who have health issues. Some people have, compromised immune systems, and it's a great risk for them to go outside. But I'm just talking about your average, person who young, healthy, has a strong immune system. That if you stay home and you just watch the news all the day, you will think the world is ending and the world is falling apart. But I think you got to get out of your house and get some exercise and really, turn the lemons into lemonade. One of the things that I try to do with my children, anything, and things are moving forward right now better than they were. You can go out and do more things now. But I said, if there's anything that you've ever wanted to do that you never had time, learn how to play the jazz saxophone, learn how to play, electric guitar, learn Italian, learn how to cook, whatever it is that you've always wanted to do, people have been allotted more time right now. So take advantage of the pause that society has sort of taken. We used to be out there going to sporting events and going to concerts and going to clubs and bars and hanging out with friends and meeting friends out for lunch and stuff like that. But we've had more time at home. The quarantine in different states and different areas has forced us to be home more. So, you'll kick yourself if you look back at this time, because we are going to come out of this time. We are going to be okay as a society and as a nation. And if you look back at that time and said, man, I didn't take advantage of that time. I could have done a lot of different things, either fixing up the house or yard work or learn Italian, like I said, or learn how to play the rock guitar, whatever it is that you want to do, take advantage of this time. And in terms of the business and the career part, if you're a person that's a face-to-face in person, and I'm better with people than I am in this kind of format. So I hope you get to come to one of my speeches one day. It is a learning skill. I mean, the world is changing, and the economics and business world is going to change because of this. One of the things you're going to learn from this is, everyone used to have to go to the office. To have a business, you had to go get a physical building, office space, pay property taxes on it, and then you had to put people in that, right? Well, now we're learning that you can do work from anywhere. You can work on a beach. You could sit on a beach and look out at the ocean and work via Zoom. So, you could work from anywhere. So try to find a way to say, this is the business world we're living in right now. This is my job. If I have to be available via Zoom and Zoom conferences, or I have to be on the phone, I'm going to be the best at that possible. So that you're very focused on your career and being successful at that. See if I can find some other questions.
Looks like there are a few questions in the Q&A section as well.
Where's the Q&A? Here we go. Okay, one of our attendees is saying, any advice for someone who feels like they are good at a lot of things, but not the best at one thing? Should I be looking for a niche? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I came out of Carolina, I wanted to do a lot of things with my life. I wanted to be a professional rock musician. I wanted to be a pro basketball player. I wanted to run for political office. So I had all these things and these dreams that I wanted to do. I loved sports and coaching, and I tried to do a little bit of all of them. I really did. I went to the graduate school at the University of Texas here in Austin, and I played music. I was in a rock band trying to get a record contract, and we actually started touring around and playing our shows and selling our CDs at shows. At the same time, I was working for a state congressman in the state house and thinking about running for political office. At the same time, I was getting involved in my community, but the love of sports, you know, never left me. And I don't think I reached ultimate success in any of those areas because I was spread too thin. I was doing a lot of different things. And here's the thing, you don't have to stop doing them, but for a career path, I definitely think if you can focus all your energy and direction into the thing that you love most, the thing that you're most passionate about. And so for me, I went and became a head basketball coach and a head football coach. And I coached at the college level, and I coached at the high school and middle school levels. And then really success fell into place. I still had time to play music on the side. I still had time to get involved in political causes and community service projects, but that was on the side. That wasn't my day job to support my family and career. I realized that if I put 1,000% of my energy into being a head football coach here in Texas or a head basketball coach, that success would follow. And luckily we were able to win some championships, and that was able to become my career. And it goes back to the thing I said earlier, which is find your passion and follow it. Because I would coach for free. I call it stealing money. So the fact that they pay me to coach, it's awesome. I don't feel like I ever have to go to work because I love doing it. So yes, to answer your question, find something that you're most passionate about and focus your energy, at least in terms of your career, and then do the other ones on the side as a hobby. Next question is, how do you avoid procrastination? Move from goal to action to steps. Well, we all procrastinate the things that we don't want to do. What you have to do is you have to ritualize daily habits. So for example, I have more of a gut than I would like to admit. I won't stand up and show it to you, but I have a bit of a gut. Don't have the healthiest diet in the world. But I know if I just say, man, I need to join a gym, I need to go work out, I need to eat better and cut out, ice cream and desserts and stuff like that, probably nothing's going to happen. The only way to change it is I have to ritualize it by coming up with daily habits. So I do need to join a gym or come up with a routine where every morning the first thing I do maybe is I work out before I start my day or at the end of the day. Well, one of the things that they find is people who work out before they start their work day and make it a routine that every morning I get up at 6 a.m. and I work out from 6 to 6:30 or whatever it's going to be, and make that a ritual where they're doing that on a daily basis, are much more likely to keep to it. Also, people who after work, first thing they do after work is they go to the gym on their way home, or they work out before they go home. They're more likely to keep that ritual. But people who say, well, I'm going to work out whenever I want to work out, and they go to work, and then they come home, and they take a shower, and they have a bite to eat, and they turn on the television, they're less likely to go to the gym. Because they're already comfortable now. So I'll go tomorrow, because they put themselves in comfort. So the best way to avoid procrastination is figure out, what am I procrastinating? What am I putting off? What do I want to change? And then come up with a ritual that you can do every day to make that better. Next question. That's not a question, that's a statement. Any more questions in the Q&A? I think we're actually out of time here. But this was great. I love this. I'm available. So one question is, please provide contact information. I work with the Texas Life Coaching Center. I'm available for motivational life coaching for anybody who wants it, anybody who's interested. But this was great. I love to talk to Gamecocks around the nation, to the Gamecock Nation, Spurs up. Let's all pray that Williams-Brice Stadium opens up and we have Carolina football. I don't know what my life would be on Saturdays in the fall without Carolina football. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Bobby. I agree. Fingers crossed for football. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the event. We have lots of upcoming online events you can see on our website if you'd like to join more. We will send out a recording of this event in the email with the survey. So keep an eye out for that if there's any parts that you want to go back to for a little extra motivation. And thank you again, Bobby, for your time.
Thank you so much. Go Gamecocks.